Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper, and I'm here tonight to talk about ADHD mindsets and the impact of mindsets on ADHD. First, let's just talk about what a mindset is. In simple terms, it's how your mind is set up to think. Let's think about that. How your mind is set up to think. Practically, it might look like something like this. If your mind is set up to think of the world as being flat, when you go out into the world, that mindset, the world is flat, is going to be the reference point of which you compare it all to. It's the model, it's the your understanding, it's how your mind is set up to think, and it has a very big impact on what your mind is looking for. Very, very powerful. A shift of a mindset is shifting your mind or setting up your mind to think differently. So if you set up your mind to think that the world is round, you're going to see very obvious things that support your thought that the world is round. Now, a mindset is very, very important because I have found an ADHD coach, it's really everything. I mean everything. I have the mindset that those with ADHD are organized and they actually can manage time. And therefore, I get to see, or I'm able to see and observe lots of things that go right and systems that go right and time management systems that are there. Whereas most people don't see it because their mindset is that they have a deficit of attention and they have time blindness. Because my mind is set up to think differently and look at things a little bit differently, what I observe is very different from those around me. And with that being said, I have to say one of the most powerful things that I've learned in coaching is mindset really has a lot to do with almost everything. If you listen to my radio show and you listen to Attention Talk Video over the year, you'll notice I always pay attention to what's being paid attention to, and I always try to illustrate how if you pay attention to it a little bit differently, what wasn't obvious then becomes obvious. And so as a result of that, the impact that I've had, or I've experienced with people with ADHD is really basically helping them to set up their mind to think differently, to help them begin to think what they can do. There's times of success, understanding what enabled them to be successful, not focusing on so much on what went wrong. I'm a big believer in focusing on, again, the clues are always present whenever you did something right. So this concept of mindset is really, really kind of complicated, but I did want to throw out there, it is how your mind is set up to think. And if the obvious solution isn't working, there's a good chance you have the wrong mindset. The trick really is, how do you shift your mindset? And that's one of those things that's not really, you don't sit there and say, I'm going to do this one day. It's a very interactive process, and you really have to open up your mind, and a lot of times you need to be put into an experience really to see the evidence that makes that happen, which is kind of what coaching is all about, and a couple other disciplines. I'm not going to go into that much further, but I did want to illustrate that mindset really is everything, and if you're stuck in life, often your mind is set up to think in a way that doesn't really help you progress any forward. Sorry this isn't a real tangible tip, but it's probably the most important tip or the thing that I've learned in coaching. The trick is really to make it happen. And I'm sorry that it's not a little bit more tangible, but it's probably one of the most important things that I would encourage you to pay attention to. We are Attention Talk Video, and if you there's a little button down here to subscribe to our video. We send out new videos each week with a tip. We encourage you to subscribe and leave comments. I'm definitely going to be interested in what you say on this concept about mindset and the notion setting up your mind to think in a certain way or changing how your mind is set up to think. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.